Well, really, it's a pleasure to be here with you today and to join you and join such inspiring group of speakers, as I'm told, to open this inaugural TEDxUniversityofMalta event. Why is everybody standing up? Well, the theme of these events, which take place in hundreds of universities and colleges around the globe, is a celebration of ideas worth spreading. That is why I shall share with you today an idea which I believe is not only worth spreading, but which we all must acknowledge. It is an idea that must come to shape our lives and embrace our communities. It is the essential message of the work I am committed to doing and of the work being done by collaborators around the world. My reflection is about the tremendous power of peace. We must ask ourselves the question, what exactly is peace? And why is it so essential? It is a word we often hear mentioned, and sometimes it feels like it doesn't mean much at all. People in positions of authority talk about their desire for peace, but we sometimes suspect that their words are not matched by actions. We might also feel that in our day-to-day routine, there is no place for an abstract notion of peace. Peace is a decision. It is a value available to us at each moment of our lives. It is a choice we might decide to take or not. If we choose peace, it means we have decided to act in a way that respects and celebrates the dignity of others. We cannot continue to afford to imagine and think that peace is only something governments or international organizations should worry about. Peace is built by our values and our attitudes, in our families, in our schools, in our places of work, in our communities, and in our societies. Peace must be nurtured. It must be learned, and above all, it must be put into practice. To make peace, we must actively transform the conflicts of everyday life into moments of cooperation and opportunities for change. Conflict itself is not the problem. Conflict has always existed and will always exist. What the practice of peace does is to offer a way of shifting the dynamics of conflict so that we are capable of discovering workable and long-term solutions. Building a culture of peace requires us to act in ways that reinforce friendship, participation, and respect among different groups and communities. If we are to achieve the important sustainable development goals set by the United Nations, then a firm foundation built on peace must become a priority. It is crucial that we defend the role of our democracy to make this happen. It is the democratic values of transparency, of free speech, and the strengthening of civil society that creates an environment conducive to peace. The full exercise of democracy is only achieved when citizens are empowered to speak up, to participate, and to be acknowledged in their identities. It is our duty to create a culture in which each individual, regardless of ethnicity, social status, gender, or faith tradition is welcomed with respect. The need for equality in achieving this harmonious transformation of society is essential. Peace can only be realized if we all embrace the cause for justice. This is especially obvious when it comes to the threat of gender inequality, which is a direct example of deeply embedded cultural injustice. There can be no place for gender inequality in a society that is seriously committed to upholding the fundamental human rights of each individual. There can be no place for gender inequality in a society that embraces democratic ideals and is oriented towards the well-being of its members. For this reason, it is troubling to realize what a long journey still lies ahead before true justice for women becomes a reality. For instance, according to last year's World Economic Forum's Gender Gap Report, it shall take us 81 years to see parity in women's full participation in the economy, unless we take drastic action. Differences in economic participation and disparities in salary for the same quality of work reflect ongoing discrimination, injustices, and inequalities in the labor market. These reveal social prejudices that affect women from all nations, even the most economically advanced. When we talk about the need for equality, for well-being, and for peace, we must also talk about education. I firmly believe that a rights-based education, which prioritizes the dignity of the human person, is our best hope for a lasting change. If we begin by encouraging our children to discover such an education for peace, then its effects will be felt at every level of society. This is the methodology at the heart of the initiative taken up by my presidency, entitled the President's Secret Garden, through a series of educational activities facilitated by my Foundation for the Well-being of Society. The President's Secret Garden is a community of learning that was created in consultation with children from all over Malta and Gozo. It is currently in its second edition, building on the success of last year's events. It is only by listening and then acting upon what we have learned that we can apply effective responses to people's real concerns. It is only by encouraging creative, nonviolent actions and behaviors which prioritize equality and respect that we can begin to rewrite the narratives of our society. In this way, we can rethink what conflict means. Our own experiences are full of examples of the ways we have dealt with others that honor their dignity rather than diminish it, and support their well-being rather than harm it. Sometimes these experiences have a deeply transformative effect on our lives. Through us, they also have the power to change the lives of those around us. Allow me to share one such experience with you. During my time as Minister for the Family and Social Solidarity, I met a 7-year-old Syrian boy named Mohammed. He was a survivor who had seen his entire family drown in the Mediterranean. The child had been saved by a 30-year-old Syrian man who might have himself drowned, but rose to the occasion and did all he could to ensure that the boy would live. Due to the severity of his trauma, the little boy was unable to speak and barely able to communicate at all. After a social media campaign, the boy was identified by his paternal uncle. This uncle, who was living in Egypt, made contact thanks to the assistance of the Red Cross and IOM Malta. The smile on that boy's face when he was reconnected with his uncle stays with me to this day and forever. We must be proactive participants to build and sustain a culture of peace. And if we are willing to work for the well-being of all people, especially the most vulnerable, we cannot wait for somebody else to do it for us. We cannot be afraid to do what is right. We must be brave. All of us have the power to begin a transformation in our families, our communities, and our societies. If we are serious in building and sustaining a culture of peace, then let us take every opportunity to challenge ourselves and ask, how can I, through the witness of my life and through my participation in society, develop a social and political consciousness that is capable of making a lasting change? How can I help to build supportive networks that unite people from all walks of life around the shared pursuit of equality, peace, and well-being? How can we all, by working together, strive towards building sustainable peace in ourselves, in our families, in our nations, and in our communities? I am convinced that given a choice between peace and conflict, everyone would choose peace. Then let us work. Let us be determined. Let us be committed for the necessary transformation to achieve peace for all. Thank you.